Hey guys, so I should probably apologize right off the bat for the mask. There's little doubt in my mind that the MAGAt Chuds are going to dox me if they haven't already, but I'm not going to make it easy for them. So, for those of you who want to know what the fuck happened to me tonight and how I almost got my teeth kicked in, today is, of course, the first day when the election has been called for Joe Biden. Obviously, many of us are celebrating. I decided to celebrate by driving down to Beverly Hills to drive by their sort of continuous Trump booster thing at the Beverly Hills Park and fly a flag. Let me grab the flag here for you and I'll show it to you. This is the flag. This is a Donald Trump flag that we'll call it liberated from somewhere. And I have written fired on it because I think I'm clever. And so what I did is I went down and I drove along Santa Monica Boulevard with that flag with the intent of annoying people because I'm a troll. And unfortunately, because it looked so much like a Trump flag and the wind was just not doing me favors, it just didn't end up working out like I hoped it did. I mean, there was a couple of instances when I was getting flipped off by fellow liberals in the cars next to me, and I had to go, read the flag! I mean, it was nice afterwards. They got a real kick out of it, but yeah, so didn't really achieve my goal. So what I decided to do instead was I decided to get out and go on foot. So I parked a few blocks away from the park, walked over with my flag, and started walking up and down on the opposite side of the street from the MAGAt parade, from the, what did I call it earlier? Oh yes, the disappointment of MAGAts. And I was getting some reactions there. This one 17-year-old girl and I'm guessing 20-something Hispanic guy were trying to argue with me a lot. You know, usual MAGAt Chud stuff. Oh, Obama made the camps in the South, so really this is his fault. And I told him to fuck off a couple times. They weren't leaving me alone. So I decided to go a little rogue. I ended up walking across the street and doing a pass through the Donald Trump rally. First pass was fine. I got called trash because I was wearing my I Like Trans shirt. I don't know if that's picking up on the thing, but anyway, by a turf, so that was fun. I got bitched at a little bit, but nothing serious happened. So I get back, so I go from the east corner of their little party to the west corner of the party and back. Don't really get much reaction. Actually, I did have a couple of guys just follow me for a hot minute, but they broke off pretty quick. So I start another lap because I don't know. I had a death wish. I guess we could call it that. And this time I pick up a group of people my age or younger, maybe mid-20s to 30s, and they start yelling at me and, you know, calling me scum, hey, there's scum over here, you know, yelling to everybody in the area. And they start yelling at me. Now, I am paying them no mind. I'm completely ignoring them because I know that's my best option. If I engage them, this is all going to go sideways very quickly. As it turns out, it was going to go sideways very quickly anyway. I'm starting to walk back from the west side of the park when I feel a tug on the flag that I have on my shoulder. And I kind of like pull it forward and like take it into my hands and stuff so I can like kind of keep it safe for a second. But then I unfurled it again. And I feel a much stronger tug. He's got a hold on it this time. So I'm like trying to yank on it, and finally I yank it out. My feet are going, we should leave. And I'm starting to move. I yank the flagpole comes apart in my hands because it's sectional. I think I accidentally smacked the guy who was standing in front of me. By that point, I was kind of like blind fearing it and just terrified. Guy falls in front of me. I'm trying to book it. I trip over the guy. I do a combat roll, back up on my feet, and I just bolt straight back out the west side of the park because the cops were stationed in the little section to the west of the park. So I'm running. I can feel them behind me. I can feel a mob growing behind me. And luckily, luckily my fat ass managed to outrun them. And I managed to get behind the cops. I screamed to the cops, "Will you help me?" And I managed to actually get behind the cops. Thankfully, the MAGAts began lying almost instantaneously. The best one was someone said, "He stole that flag from one of us." And it's like, really? One of you guys wrote "fired" on a Trump flag? Because obviously the person yelling that hadn't paid attention and therefore didn't know a thing. So the cops ended up sitting me down. They told me to stay where I was, keep my hands on my knees. Now, at this point, I would like to point out that I am extremely thankful that I am male and white. Because if I had been anything other than that, I would not have been treated anywhere as well as I was by the Beverly Hills Police Department. I have no doubt of this in my mind. They sit me down. They didn't even get all that antsy when they realized I had my pocket knife in my pocket. And to be quite frank, I brought the pocket knife thinking I might need a last resort, and I forgot about it completely until the cop noticed the belt clip and mentioned it. So, a lot of good that fucking did me. So the cops sat me down. They took my information. As a matter of fact, just in case, because I want to make sure that this is I remember this, the gentleman who took my information from the Beverly Hills Police Department was Officer Rhee, R-H-E-E, badge number 04733. So if I do get doxxed too quickly, I'm going to probably blame him. Because he was like, he even took down my email. He's like, "Well, we need to get in touch with you, if we can't get you on the phone." And I'm like, "Fine, take my fucking email." Anyway, I sat there with the cops for about 15 to 20 minutes. The cops made it, they told me I had to stay until they determined if someone had actually been injured and if there was someone willing to come forward as a complainant. There wasn't. Shock of shocks. And then I was told I could go. Although, fun fact, the Beverly Hills City Council has apparently banned the use of flagpoles in public parks as a result of the protests, which was a shock to me because there were a fucking lot of flagpoles. I even mentioned this to one of the officers, and he's like, "Well, we do what we can." And it's like, yeah, you can take mine. Thanks, asshole. Anyway, they did protect me. I should give them, I should thank them. Thank you, Beverly Hills Police Department, for keeping me from dying. But yeah, so that was fucking terrifying. I don't even know if it's fully hit me yet. I would not be surprised in the slightest bit if this wakes me up in the middle of the night with a nightmare, if this actually caused me trauma. I got extremely lucky. I am lucky that was protected partially by my privilege, no question there. But yeah, so that is the story of what happened. After the cops let me go, I circled wide around Beverly Hills, just took a nice long detour walk to avoid any attention. Which was really funny, because when I was crossing Beverly Road, Beverly something in Beverly Hills. It was at that point that the rally had decided to march down that street in force, like all of them. I have video of it. I'll be posting it in a minute. But it's like, okay, they were perfectly content to stay where they were until there was a near-miss confrontation. Now they start marching. I'm going to take credit for this. I'm going to take credit for riling up the MAGAts. So, go me. Also, it is incredibly, there's so much cognitive dissonance in an angry mob marching towards a police line with batons and tear gas launchers and chanting "Back the Blue." It's like, the fuck, guys? You know what you're... How is this something... How can you hold these two bits of information in your head at the same time? How can you march aggressively down the street towards a police line and still say, "Don't worry, we love you guys"? Anyway. So I made it back to my car, and I've made it back home, and I am safe. Unfortunately, I fully expect to be doxxed at some point in the next few weeks. I'm hoping that video of my assault comes out. I would love to see it. Quite frankly, I just want to see how fast I moved. I didn't know I was capable of outrunning people, especially my fat ass, but apparently I am. Who fucking knew? So yeah. So I am, well, okay, I'm 90% okay. My legs are going, why did you make us run that fast? And I wrenched my left shoulder out. Yeah, that is like a pulled muscle or a strain or something. That is gonna hurt for a while. But yeah, so I guess at this point, I'm probably gonna need to go in self-isolation for a few days, voluntary isolation, until I'm certain I didn't catch COVID from the MAGAts. I'm gonna see about getting a test set up, but we'll see. So don't worry, guys. I survived. I'm okay. I will continue to post all of my leftist bullshit. But yeah, so fun times at the Beverly Hills MAGA rally. Actually, a really ironic thing. The Hispanic guy I was conversing with before I decided to make my walk, was saying basically, oh yeah, you could walk through there and you'd be fine, but I wouldn't be able to walk through a Black Lives Matter protest and be fine with a Trump flag. And no, you were fucking wrong. I wasn't fine. I was in grave mortal danger. So, point to me, I guess. Anyway, thanks for sitting with me through the long-ass explanation. I'll be posting this to Twitter and Facebook. I'll be posting the video I recorded on my phone of the MAGA March directly beneath it. So, yeah. Thanks for hanging out, guys. And once again, don't worry. I'm mostly fine.